Hello, everyone. Welcome to LexTalk, World's talk show presented by Click Creators. Today, we have Ms. Sravanthi with us. Ms. Sravanthi is the founder and managing partner of Iustus Legal LLP. Being a seasoned corporate lawyer with more than 2 decades of experience with both domestic and multinational clients, there is a lot to learn from her in this session. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to the lady herself. Hello, Ms. Sravanthi. Welcome to the show, and how are you doing?
Hello, Sagar. I'm doing great, and thank you for the introduction. And it's going good.
And thank you for getting some time out of your busy schedule today. It's going to be a great session. So my first question to you, I'm really excited to sort of learn more about your journey in your own words. I tried my level best to cover things in a line or two, but we means me and the viewers would like to learn or know more about you and your journey in the legal profession so far. And when did you aspire to become a legal professional, actually?
Yes, it's a long journey, and I would like to just walk you through the 20 years of my journey of aspiring and becoming a lawyer. I come from a humble background. My father was an accountant. My mother was a homemaker until I was 10. And then she chose to become an entrepreneur to support handloom workers or handloom weavers. My family has a lot of chartered accountants, doctors, professors, and lawyers. But back then, law was always a secondary profession or not the primary chosen one. In this position, I was lucky my parents didn't decide and say, this is your choice of profession. You need to do this as your career path. And that actually helped me to look at all the options available from the existing or new ones as well. And like every child, everything you see, you would want to become. That's how you grow. And in my 9th class, I decided to become a lawyer. And this is what I told my parents. They said, fine, we are there with you. That eased out. No stress, no pressure, no best marks, nothing like that. The way we have nowadays, kids are under pressure. That eased me out. And I took up the legal or the laws as my profession. And 5 years, I know how it went by. And because there was no pressure, I think I studied quite hard to prove to myself and people around. And gold medal was the result of the hard work. And after that, I see now 10 of my younger cousins have chosen law as a profession, and I feel elated and accomplished that this is now a preferred profession and not a secondary profession. I started my law firm. I started working with a law firm as an associate, and luckily all of them were women. My seniors were all women. They said there are 3-4 things which you need to know as a student or a fresher in the law firm. You need to know your basics right, your tenets of law right, learn drafting skills, observe how people conduct in the court of law, and how we speak to the client. These are the basic foundations which will take you in the long state. As they say, foundation, the building could be very big, beautiful, but the foundation is the most important thing in any building, right? So with this, I started my journey of a fresher or a law grad after your law grad. And being in Hyderabad was the best thing. I would say best thing. That's because everybody aspires to do their first years in Bombay, Bangalore, or Delhi. But I was happy doing things in Hyderabad. And luckily back then, Hyderabad was chosen to be a IT hub. It was the epicenter for all IT companies. So I didn't have to go search for jobs. People were coming into Hyderabad to set up ventures, companies. So this opened up a lot of avenues for lawyers to not only look at litigation, also look at the corporate and other areas of legal practice. With this, work spectrum increased, it became bigger, and clients approached with small to big, challenging to complex works. And I could explore and excel in diverse areas of legal, not only looking at one, that back then being litigation. I strongly believe having diverse experience helped me in my career trajectory and see every matter through different angles. And I must confess, after 20 years in this profession, I've never regretted that I've chosen this profession, and I hope this stays on ever. This professional journey has been really enriching. I got an opportunity to create value to my client, help my team excel in their careers, underpinned with by continuous learning. That's our requirement in a legal. You're a student for life. Industry connects have increased. Challenging the status quo became the norm. And most importantly, the competition in a healthy way helped me to sustain where I am. Thank you.
This is, I mean, this sounds like a very musical journey in itself. Kudos to you, Mr. Avanti, for this. And
Thank
I
you.
guess this also resulted, I mean, this all can be put up in in a way that, you know, a lot of confidence that came up to you. Because while I was going through reading about you, also got to know that you opened your uh, law firm in the pandemic period. I mean, while the
Yes.
world was going through most difficult phase during the pandemic, how did you choose to start a new firm during such a volatile period? I mean, what was the motivation?
During pandemic, there was uncertainty, both sustainability as well as survival. More importantly, that was the right time we thought about ourselves, introspection. We were running a rat race always. The days just didn't know how it flew by. But during pandemic, we had our time, my time. So we introspect, and the same thing happened with me. And I believe the silver lining in pandemic was clients, both domestic and international, understood things can still work using technology. Services can still be rendered using technology as the base. Physical meeting, having hundreds of books in an office was not required. Things moved on. And I personally noticed companies which were not doing great or wanted some kind of a support were looking for investors. So I felt this was the right time for doing corporate due diligences. So one, a corporate due diligence practice was the right thing happening then. It was a volatile period. People's investment were going downward or the southward. So people started investing in real estate because that was booming. Everybody were buying properties. This increased title due diligences because this was more a sustainable investment where ROI was great. So I said, yes, real estate market is booming. So title diligences are very, very good. Then our labor codes are all were undergoing overall. So queries from companies came over for compliances or, at least proactively checking where are we in the compliance angle. So the labor angle also was gaining impetus. So I would like to say these were the areas which I was familiar with, and I felt there was no dearth. Although the courts were closed, lawyers did not have, virtual hearings, but still not norm at that point of time. Then I thought, let me have a further thought process, and I truly believe this was the right time for me to make my deep-rooted vision of providing a just and fair legal services to my clients a reality. Initially, I was apprehensive. It could be risky, moving from a comfortable job or a comfortable zone to setting up a law firm. No clients or more clients to no clients, regular income to no income or less income, because there was a heights of volatility, right? So I think this was a divine intervention and 100% support from my husband and my children and my family too, who encouraged me to go ahead with my dream. With this, I took a leap of faith. I established Iustus Legal with the grace of God and my dad, who missed to see this great phase of my life. And Iustus, what Iustus means? It means righteousness. It means dharma in Hindi, of just and fair, which is based on the firm's vision to create value to the client. When a matter is entrusted, I understand the client's basic requirements, the pain points, and try to give more sensible or a pragmatic solutions within the legal confines. And I think it's very, very fulfilling and enriching when clients feel happy when they move out and say, yes, thank you, this is what I required. And how do I assess that? That when they give more work or they refer the firm to another prospective client. And I feel grateful that I did something for myself and for my client at the end. I think this has been a great thing which happened during pandemic. The positive side is what I can say.
I mean, that's I guess value addition is the name of the game for you.
Yes, yes,
Brilliant. Miss Shravanthi, I actually have a very controversial question as well here. I mean, after that, I will dwell down more into your. Also want to learn about a very complex, not very complex, but I would say a complex legal issue that we recently worked upon. But before that, is there any special challenge that women lawyers face when it comes to legal profession? I mean, you can also choose not to answer to this.
no, the issue any lady faces is not industry specific. It is present in every phase, be it legal, be it a movie, be it a manufacturing unit. Every place you have, I would say, a gender discrimination or the way a person perceives. Even I also had seen, experienced such variations during the course of the journey. Nothing comes easily. You need to prove your point. When you are a junior, people think you're a lady. And second, they look for a gentleman. Probably may not, we may either be equal or probably I may be standing in a better position knowledge wise, but still they aspire to talk to a male colleague rather than a lady. This was disheartening. So I had to prove my mettle by saying, listen me out, hear me out, give me an opportunity. And I think where I stand today, it says it all, because there were many who walked with me in my profession, my legal colleagues, my classmates, who have chosen to be a homemaker because not of the choice, because they didn't feel like to continue due to the experience they have faced in this profession. That is not a great thing. But nowadays I see there are many women who are choosing this, and I'm very glad that we are making it more conducive and nice environment. But things I did not change 100%, but we are doing good way. And I think Sexual Harassment Act is, I'm sure if you're familiar with that, that actually is helping us all out. And technology also is helping people out to say that if you speak out, I have a recording and I'll bust the situation out. So I think this is where we are. But things are going good.
That's the fair answer. That's a fair answer. Generally, people try to dodge the question because, as I said, it's a controversial one. And but that's a fact. I mean, the based on my experience, the way I have discussed with a lot of female lawyers, not just from India, but from Africa, from even from states, we've heard some horrific stories about it, and some terrific, great stories of women like yourself coming out of everything and proving their mettle as you did. So
Thank you.
I mean, that's a brilliant one. Now moving further to my excitement and adding few more notes to the session, if you can tell us about some complex or interesting legal matters you worked on recently and share learnings out of it.
I wouldn't still say recently. I would still try to make it more interesting by saying the things which are close to my heart, or the matters which I really put my heart and soul. I think I would share those because I enjoyed working on them. And to be very frank, 20 years span, choosing one or two is difficult. I'll walk you through one or two just to give a flavor how things pan out. And these matters, every matter teaches you something. Some fade away, some stays with you for lifetime. And these are some matters which are with me even now. I would like to share two matters. One is our state government had wanted to, give a boost to our tourism, and called out for, interested parties for a private public partnership model for setting up a convention center and other related projects along back then. And there were quite a few, expats or foreign entities interested, and there was a series of things. And after that, the matter had come to us for advisory, strategic negotiations, and all such things. And that, really excited me because everything was awesome and was going great. A wonderful exposure and wonderful, front-ending such projects when you speak to a government official, a bureaucrat, or an expert, or the other side counsel was terrific because it's a Herculean task to impress the other side and get him convinced to your thoughts. It's not an easy cakewalk, and it takes a lot of strain, stress, and research as well. You need to prove your point. Why should I agree to your point? So during this, the transaction, what had happened is there were strategies, there were a lot of discussions, and then suddenly matter moved from entirely a transaction to a litigation for the reasons known then, for unforeseen reasons, we can say. It became a 100% the litigation matter went up to the Supreme Court. So what I get to learn, I looked at the entire corporate, the real estate, the labor, because they had to hire people, and then the litigation. So it may not be it's a wonderful experience for a lawyer to get so much exposure, so much excellence, and so much introspection, understanding, the understanding the other side in one matter. And this was an exciting and stressful also. We learned how to handle pressure, because speaking to senior counsels in or briefing the matter in Supreme Court is not an easy task. So these were very, very exciting as well as nerve breaking, both ways. But yeah, this was wonderful. And the second one, which I can tell you, is there was a cross-border kind of a litigation where certain US government funds, which were assigned for something, was embezzled, misused by some companies. And one of our clients, which was part of indicted in the matter. And this was highly sensitive and very confidential. It only had 5 or 7 people who were familiar of this matter. And the 5 or 7 were primarily the counsels who were giving some outside counsel, the legal counsel from the US law firm, because it was happening there and here. So this gave me a wonderful view of how US firms work and how a criminal matter or how a civil litigation, these things were out of the box thinking, and gave me an awesome exposure. And mentally draining also this matter because it was sensitive. And the things all sorted because the client got a favorable answer, favorable result. If all ends, what ends well is good. So that's what happened. And at the end, I learned a lot and I got exposure to a lot. And now I train my juniors on this and see these aspects. This will help you the way you need to help, see and look into it. So both these matters are distinct. Both these matters are distinct, and different skill sets were required. Approach metrics were different, and because facts and cases are different. One was a transaction, one was a criminal litigation. But every matter entrusted had to be thought through. It is not a reaction. You need to respond after thought-provoking thought processing that, yes, I have to strategically move forward. And it was really very interesting, both of these. Yes.
That's really wonderful, Ms. Sravanthi. I mean, and as you said, every matter is complex in its own way, but it's also very difficult to get out of bring even 2 matters out of your 20 years of experience, but you did. Thank you very much for that. I also want, for our better understanding and for our viewers' better understanding, if you can let us know the areas you enjoy working on. I mean, we talked about the transactional issue and the criminal litigation, and your key practice areas are also corporate and commercial and real estate. But what are those areas that you enjoy working, and what do you envision your firm's growth?
Yes, this is a very interesting question, because when you speak about what you enjoy, I think it's all smiles. And I'm not cornered here, so I'm happy to answer this question. What I would like to say is I've had the opportunity for spearheading projects, both in India, across geographies, if I can say so, for legal organizations, small to big, medium size, and a large scale companies as well. I thoroughly enjoy advising clients in strategic investments. That means mind power. And mergers, acquisitions, again, I thoroughly enjoy doing, because it has structuring the shareholding patterns, the debt structuring agreements, and conducting due diligences. The most important is to understand what are the pitfalls, what are your gray areas, and how do you overcome them, depending upon which side you're representing. If you're for the investor, are you for the company who's being invested in? So these are the areas which I love working or enjoy working in the corporate and the commercial sector. These are very few because I didn't want it to go further. And it's a long, otherwise it'll be taking a whole lot of time. And another area I enjoy working is tracing the title for a property. It takes you through ages. Sometimes you get to see 100-year-old document and written in manuscript. That's quite challenging to read because we now are used to more so computer or a technology based. It's all print, but reading a manuscript in an old version is fascinating. And then it could be 1 acre or less than an acre to hundreds of acres. That's really very, very interesting to wade through and get to know whether the title is clear, unclear, what are the gray areas, and what are the risks and encumbrances, and telling a client, please check before you invest. So unless you are clear, you are open for negotiation, and you're open for financial and legal exposure if you don't do the due diligence. Please verify, check, and then move forward. So these are interesting. And the other area is employment law, and that's now caught up with everybody because of the labor codes coming into picture. Although that's still not in, but we are in that transition stage. We still need to comply with the old. The new ones are up there, not knowing when they are out and becoming effective. So we need to see both. So that's interesting. And being a lady, I would like to always sensitize companies that please provide a safe work environment for women. We are here to prove ourselves. It is not that we earn money. It is here to prove that we can do it and we can do well. It's our choice to be a homemaker. Don't make it your choice. So I keep conducting these sessions across corporates, and that's a mandatory compliance as well. So and make it more interesting. It's a sensitive topic. People shy away speaking, but it's a required topic. You can't shy away from. And this is the areas I enjoy working. But now coming to what I envision for my firm, Iustus Legal is a boutique law firm established to, as I already told you, to render fair and just legal services. The tenets are credibility, and committed to work, and collaboration. I think these are the three things which should be there in any person, and we also provide these are our basic foundation pillar stones. But once we get this, I think our clients have to celebrate because the best things will come out when the road path is green and good. At present we are positioned in Hyderabad, but thanks to pandemic and thanks to the technologies, we cater to clients across geographies. And being a young firm, we are agile, tech-enabled, and adapt to ever-changing legal and business ecosystems. We partner with colleagues across and cohesively work towards reaching our goal, and which is finally the goal of our client as well. I think this is what we were envisioned. And at the end, the client satisfaction is the best thing a lawyer would feel happy doing about. We provide an equitable, efficient, cost-effective, pragmatic solutions to all our clients. And I think one of my clients told, "You're a people-oriented lawyer." I said, "This is a people-oriented law firm." That's one of a satisfying comment or a compliment. I wouldn't say a compliment; it's a compliment, and I cherish that. Thank you.
These are all traits of a wise organization, I would say. So kudos to you for that as well. Sravanthi, so far this has been a great session. Not just learning about you, but about your approach on different things. But I will not let you leave the session before I ask you a very mandate question that we ask all the lawyers almost. It's about the time management. Because I'll sort of give you a small segue. I was recently reading an article, and I realized that in India, I guess it's just only lawyers who know the value of hour, not the common men. However, in States and in Europe, the culture is totally different. If you ask their pay, they start counting it in hourly pay. So they know the value of their time. But we, as Indians, we are not aware of what's the value of our time. But lawyers do. And as they say, time is money in any profession, and in legal, it's most of all. So my exact question is, how do you ensure to make the best of your time as a lawyer for your profession and for your personal life as
Yeah, I would like to quote a statement or a sentence from Mock, who sold Ferrari. Time is the most precious commodity, which is non-renewable. And I seriously feel that's a great statement to make. We need to value both money and time. Both go, but money can be earned at any point, but time is spent and you cannot get it back. That's why we spend the time. We don't earn the time, we spend the time. I totally agree. Legal profession is highly demanding and challenging. Striking a balance is not easy, as being a professional, a personal life, both are at stake and both have to be balanced. I wouldn't say things are 100% balance or 50-50 balance. We need to know when to prioritize. We need to know which requires the priority, because a client is very important, because money is at stake, time is at stake. Likewise, your personal life is also very, very important. You cannot take that also at ease. Now coming, I say it's like two sides of coin. You cannot choose, but legal profession always requires a little more, thoda or zara sa kind of situation. Based on situations, I have prioritized both, and thankfully, going strong both ways. In fact, many women, as I've already told you, have left this profession because you need support from your family. You still need to do your, as a lady. I'm not saying men don't have, but women have little more work to do. A mother's role, a daughter's role, a wife's role is a little more than a man's role. So if you don't get a supportive family, you can't go out there and do your 100%. So I think I've been lucky there, and many women don't get that support. When you have a baby, you need a supportive family. You leave the profession either after marriage or after your next generation is out. So these are things which are a hitch for a lady to continue. And coming to your question, how do I ensure being doing my best or giving my best time when I'm a lawyer? I start my work as I think most of us should do, is list out priority wise, urgency, priority, or administrative work. Admin work usually takes the last bit. Leave it to Saturday, Sunday, when clients, go back, and Saturday, Sunday being their holiday, we don't have to disturb them. So Monday to Friday is concentrate on prioritized work. And then I still make my notes by hand. I write once and I remember things. So that way I'm happy. I go back to my notes, and I avoid procrastination. I don't put things to tomorrow. I try my best to do it today. Keep a watch on deadlines. Keeping watch on deadlines, and if I think I'm spilling over, I go back to the client and say things are need some more time. And clients are receptive. They are not, as they portray that, they're not very saying that no, I need it now, not need not be kind of situation. They are very, very receptive and accommodative. Compartmentalizing urgent important is actually very, very helpful. I've been working that way, and it's been working that best for me. And client relationships and being updated with law is a good way to spend time. You need to be updated with law. If you're not updated, I feel you're outdated. So you need to be up to the speed with the changing things. You need to network to understand what's happening around with your peers as well as your clients. On a personal note, in my mantra, personal life, I love to play board games, watch movies, go for dinners. That rejuvenates me, and I'm up ready for the next hard day. Hard day because of the volume of work, not because it's strenuous. Because I enjoy working. And we hear a lot of clients or a lot of people who come up and say, my client is really demanding. The timelines are always one day early. This is partially true, but being transparent to client to say, please listen, this needs a thought process. It is not run of the mill or copy paste. It doesn't work. You need to have a structured approach if you need a result. Give us that time. And clients have, I'm sorry, the clients have responded positively. In one latest, in last 2 weeks, there was an investor who said, I need it in a day's time, three major agreements. I said, think through. You're not being nice to yourself, because we need to use brain. It is not a photocopy. We need to think through and tell you your pros, cons, what happens if a situation comes. And at that point, after you sign, a dispute arises, you can't negotiate. Sorry, you cannot negotiate then. It is now the right time to speak. So I think these have been helpful for me, and I've been fortunate until now. It's been working. And the best thing, I would not reason out saying that delegation. You need to know what to delegate and when to delegate. And this works both in professional and personal life. I think these till now have helped me, and I think they should help for others as well if they at least give it a thought process. And this
That's
is
right.
where it is.
The reason why we ask this question is because a lot of young professionals watch our session, and I'm also a young professional, so I know time management is a really big deal for us. But you see, we learn it on the go. But I also believe that if you have someone's experience, it reduces the lag phase for you of the understanding. So thank you very much for that. And as I said, this has been a great session. There are a lot of nuggets that I have taken and our viewers can take, of course. So thank you very much for sharing such great insights with us. And we look forward to having a chat with you again in the future on some other trending topics in the international legal industry. Thank you very much, Mr. Avanti. It was a pleasure to have this talk with you.
Thank you, Sagar. It was really very interesting having this discussion, and thanks LexTalk as well for giving the opportunity. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I would still call it a conversation. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. And for our viewers, if you like this chat with Mr. Avanti, I want you to like this video, to share this video, and click on the red button to subscribe to Click Away Creators YouTube channel to appreciate what we do. And you have more coming in from legal industry leaders. This was Sagar for Let's Talk World signing off.